Welcome back to the channel, and if you're new here, smash that subscribe button because we're diving deep into the NFL playoff race. We're 12 weeks into the season, and let me tell you, this year is wild. The playoff picture is absolutely bonkers right now, and if someone told you back in September what the standings would look like today, you'd think they were crazy. Daniel Jones leading the Colts to first place in the AFC South and the NFL's highest-scoring offense. The Chiefs not leading the AFC West after winning it 9 straight years. The Bears on top of the NFC North. It's madness. Today, we're breaking down every single division race, the surprises, the heartbreaks, and which teams are about to make their playoff push. Stick around because we've got some spicy takes coming your way. Let's get into it. All right, let's start with the biggest storyline nobody saw coming, Daniel Jones and the Indianapolis Colts. Remember when the Giants released this guy last year? Everyone wrote him off. Skip Bayless, Stephen A. Everyone said his career was over. Fast forward to November 2025, and Jones is leading the Colts to an 8-3 record and sitting atop the entire AFC South. But here's what's even crazier. The Colts aren't just winning games, they're dominating offensively. They're leading the NFL in scoring. Through 11 games, Jones has thrown for 2,140 yards, 17 touchdowns, and just 7 interceptions with a 69% completion rate. Those are legitimate franchise quarterback numbers. The Colts signed him to a 1-year, $14 million deal, basically a prove-it contract, and he's proving everything. General manager Chris Ballard created an open competition with Anthony Richardson, and Jones won it decisively. Now they're 8-3 and control their own destiny in the AFC South with a 67% chance to win the division. But hold on. Before we crown them division champs, we need to talk about the danger lurking behind them. The Jaguars at 7-4 and the Texans at 6-5 are not going away quietly. This division race is about to get intense, and we'll break that down later. Now, let's talk about the team that everyone should have seen coming, the New England Patriots. At 10-2, the Pats have the best record in the entire NFL and are riding a 9-game winning streak. They're dominating the AFC East with an 87% chance to win the division. This isn't just good, this is elite. What's scary about New England is they also have the 3rd easiest remaining schedule in the league. That's the recipe for a deep playoff run, folks. They're not just making the playoffs, they're getting a first-round bye and home field advantage throughout. The Bills are sitting at 7-4 and trying to keep pace, but they've lost 2 of their last 3 games and just don't look like the same team that won 5 straight AFC East titles. Josh Allen is still Josh Allen, but the pieces around him aren't clicking like years past. If you're a Patriots fan, this is your year. Everything is lining up perfectly. All right, buckle up because we're about to dive into the most insane division race in football, the NFC North. You've got 3 legitimate contenders separated by just 1 game, the Bears at 8-3, the Packers at 7-3-1, and the Lions at 7-4. This is absolute chaos, and here's why it's so fascinating. Let's start with Chicago. The Bears are 8-3, leading the division, but here's the crazy part. They have a -3 point differential. That's the 3rd worst point differential by any team, with at least 8 wins through 11 games in NFL history. They're winning games they probably shouldn't be winning. So the question is, are the Bears actually good, or are they just lucky? Well, we're about to find out because their schedule is brutal. They've got the Eagles on Black Friday, 2 more games with the Packers, a trip to San Francisco, and the season finale against the Lions. That's a murderer's row of opponents. Now the Packers, at 7-3-1 with that 1 tie, they're actually in the driver's seat with a 40% chance to win the division. Why? Because they already beat the Lions in Week 1, so they have the head-to-head tiebreaker. They're 2-0 in division games, while Chicago is just 1-2. Green Bay visits Detroit on Thanksgiving, and that game could be absolutely massive for playoff seeding. If the Packers win, they essentially control the division. And then there's Detroit. The Lions are 7-4 and technically have the easiest final 3 weeks of these 3 teams. Steelers, at Vikings, at Bears, but easy is relative. Before that, they face the Packers, Cowboys, and have to travel to LA to face the Rams. That's no cakewalk. Here's the kicker. All 3 of these teams currently represent 3 of the 4 toughest remaining schedules in the entire NFL. This division is going to beat each other up, and at least 1 really good team is going to miss the playoffs or barely squeeze in as a wild card. The NFC West is putting on its own playoff party, and guess what? All 3 teams at the top would make the playoffs if the season ended today. The Rams are leading the way at 9-2 with a commanding 77% chance to win the division. They just demolished the Buccaneers 34-7 on Sunday Night Football and have won 6 straight games. LA is looking like a legitimate Super Bowl contender right now, but here's where it gets interesting. The Seahawks are 8-3 and the 49ers are 8-4. Both of these teams are playoff caliber, and the 49ers specifically have a 4-1 record in division play, which could be a huge tiebreaker advantage down the stretch. The Rams' schedule is manageable. They still have to play the Lions and visit Seattle, but they should handle business. That cross-country trip to Carolina could be a trap game, though. If LA slips up even once, Seattle and San Francisco are ready to pounce. What's crazy is if the season ended today, the NFC West would send 3 teams to the playoffs, while the 7-4 Lions would be on the outside looking in. That's how stacked this conference is right now. Remember how we talked about Daniel Jones and the Colts earlier? Well, the AFC South is about to get real interesting. Indianapolis is 8-3 and leads the division, but Jacksonville at 7-4 has won 3 of their last 4 games. The only loss in that span? To the Houston Texans, who are 6-5 and have won 4 of their last 5. The door is wide open for drama, and it starts this weekend when the Texans visit the Colts. This is a huge game. Here's what makes this race so compelling. Indianapolis has the NFL's second toughest remaining schedule. They have to play Jacksonville twice and Houston twice, plus they've got a trip to Seattle and a home date with San Francisco sandwiched in there. That's brutal. Meanwhile, Jacksonville has one of the easiest remaining schedules in the league. Trevor Lawrence is playing inspired football despite some turnovers. He had 256 yards and 3 touchdowns in that overtime win against Arizona, leading them back from deficits multiple times. And don't sleep on Houston. Their defense can absolutely wreak havoc down the stretch. The Texans are 3-1 in division games, which is the best mark among these 3 teams. If they can beat the Colts this week, suddenly it's a 1-game difference with head-to-head matchups still to come. The Colts have a 67% chance to win this division, but those percentages are about to shift dramatically based on the next few weeks. For the first time in what feels like forever, the Kansas City Chiefs are not leading the AFC West. The Denver Broncos are 9-2 and have a 2-game lead with a 78% chance to win the division. Kansas City, the team that won the AFC West 9 consecutive years, is sitting at 6-5 and fighting just to stay in the playoff picture. But here's what makes this race still interesting. The LA Chargers are 7-4 and have a perfect 3-0 record in AFC West games. That includes head-to-head wins over both the Broncos and the Chiefs. If Denver stumbles, the Chargers have the tiebreaker advantage. Kansas City showed they're not done yet with that overtime win over Indianapolis in Week 11, keeping their playoff hopes alive. They still have home games against both Denver and LA. If the Chiefs can win those games and Denver drops 1 or 2 elsewhere, suddenly we're right back to Chiefs Kingdom ruling the West. Never count out a team with championship DNA, even if they're struggling. Every year we get division races that are more about who's less bad than who's actually good. And this year we've got 2 of them. First, the AFC North. Baltimore and Pittsburgh are both 6-5. The Ravens have won 5 straight after starting 1-5, but the offense has been wildly inconsistent. Lamar Jackson doesn't look like himself, and Derrick Henry has fallen off significantly this season. Still, Baltimore holds a 70% chance to win the division because they're 2-0 in division games compared to Pittsburgh's 2-1 mark. These 2 teams played twice more, including in Week 18, so this race is going right down to the wire. Then there's the NFC South, the true dumpster fire of the NFL. Tampa Bay is 6-5, but has lost 3 straight games, and their offense is ravaged by injuries. The Buccaneers still have an 89% chance to win the division, though. But wait, the Carolina Panthers are 6-6 and somehow in the playoff race. They have a minus 53-point differential, which tells you everything you need to know about the quality of this division. Carolina and Tampa play twice in the final 3 weeks, so we could get some wild late-season fireworks. Neither of these divisions is sending a truly scary team to the playoffs, but hey, once you're in the tournament, anything can happen. The NFC East is essentially over. The Philadelphia Eagles are 8-3 with a 98% chance to win the division. They're about to become the first team to repeat as NFC East champions since they won 4 straight from 2001 to 2004. Philly blew a 21-point lead to the Cowboys in Week 11, but still have a commanding lead in the division. They play the Bears on Black Friday, which should be an absolute banger of a game. Dallas is 5-5-1 and showed some life in recent games, but their chances of catching Philly are basically zero. The Cowboys are fighting for a wild card spot at this point. The Eagles are the second seed in the NFC right now and have a legitimate shot at a deep playoff run. So there you have it, folks. The NFL playoff picture is absolutely insane right now. We've got Daniel Jones resurrecting his career in Indy, the Patriots dominating the AFC, a three-way death match in the NFC North, the Chiefs fighting for their playoff lives, and division races that are going to come down to the final weeks of the season. December and January football is when teams push their way into the postseason, and with 6 weeks left, everything is still on the table. We're going to see heartbreak, game-winning drives, overtime thrillers, and probably some teams that make miracle runs nobody saw coming. What do you think? Who's winning each division? Which surprise team is making the playoffs? Drop your predictions in the comments below. If you enjoyed this breakdown, smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our playoff coverage. We'll be breaking down every twist and turn as we head into December. Thanks for watching.